Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Pointless Top 10, a show where we make top 10 lists out of pointless things. Why we're flying by this pointless statue in Booty Bay? Because inside pointless things are treasure. Let's begin. 10. Number 10 are the butterflies of the Garden Shrine, which sounds a lot more epic than they actually are. They're just a bunch of butterflies flying around and I thought it looked pretty cool. But, this is a really nice area. It's called the Garden Shrine and it's just a bunch of butterflies flying around. I don't know, it felt very, like the Emerald Dream, that type of thing. That's what it reminded me of, but I was like, dude, are these new? Are these butterflies like new in World of Warcraft? And it made me realize how little I've paid attention to butterflies because apparently butterflies are present in the Stone Talon Mountains. And it says one came to the Dryad Tarandrella in the Charred Vale. I have no idea what that means, but I feel like those are the tiny little butterflies. You know what I mean? Not the giant ones like we're seeing right here. So I'm like, okay, whatever. But it says butterfly in a jar is a pet vendor thing. There's also some stuff in Zuldazar for butterflies. And it seems like Legion and BFA is where these butterfly models were introduced. So I'm not going to lie. I had no idea. I had no idea till this point that these butterfly models were in the game, which that's the whole point of Pointless Top 10. You know what I mean? Is you find things that you think are new and fresh and, I don't know, hidden away, and it turns out it's just something that's been in the game for like years. But maybe other people haven't noticed it, and if that's the case, look at these butterflies. Either way, they're in a really cool spot in the Garden Shrine. I really like this area, so that's number 10. 9. Number 9 is this crazy fountain I found, and it just reminded me of Uther, and it reminded me of Ulduar. It had that very Ulduar aesthetic to it, you know what I mean? And it was way up in the mountains, as you can see. In the mountains, so I guess it fits. But I don't know, it seems really cool. It's just got all the gears turning. There's water coming out of his mouth. I think the only reason I think of Uther when I see this is because of his goatee. You know what I mean? It feels like this guy's got that goatee and the water's pouring out of his mouth. Although, I don't know. I don't actually know if it's Uther or not. I don't think it is, but it still gives off that Ulduar vibe. And that alone makes me like it a lot. I guess it could be kind of an Ulduar thing, because, I mean, this is Dragonland, it's close to Northrend. I'm actually not too sure about the lore of Ulduar, I never looked too far into it, but even the pillars and everything around it, I think, are very Ulduar-esque, so there probably is some lore behind it. If you're a lore nerd and you know more about this, feel free to comment down below and tell us more about it, but for now, it's a cool fountain, and it's number 9. 8. Number 8 is this dragon that sweeps with 3 brooms. And not only does he sweep with 3 brooms, but he does it magically. So he's a magic janitor dragon, essentially. Which, by the way, I would watch that TV show, The Magic Janitor Dragon. That sounds like a fun time. But he's got his 3 brooms, which can sweep through rocks, apparently, but he just goes around and he sweeps. And that's all he does. He doesn't really do anything else. He's got one job, and I think he does it well. It seems like here's the problem. Like when you watch those brooms, it seems like dust is always flying up behind him. You know what I mean? Like look at that. The dust is it's going everywhere, as well as the little magical effects. But the fact that it's so dusty that everywhere you go, the dust is flying up, it leads me to think like, is this place just super dusty? Or are these brooms even working? Maybe they're just tossing the dust up into the air and then it's landing back down. So really, he's not even efficiently sweeping. You know what I mean? Because, like, what's the point if everything's just constantly dusty? I don't know. But I do think it's pretty cool. And I mean, in this case, it actually would be perfect for this list, because if he is sweeping with 3 brooms, and it's actually doing absolutely nothing, it's just putting the dust up in the air before it settles back down again, that makes the sweeping completely pointless, which means it's perfect for this list, because it's pointless. And that's why it's number 8.
7.
Speaking of being completely pointless, we have this Night Elf man that is looking at a map that I don't think he can actually see. When I saw this character, I was like, what is he doing? And then I looked, I was like, oh, he's got a map open, but he's sitting in the map. So he can't, I don't think he can see it unless he has some sort of supervision that can see through his own clothes, or maybe some sort of magical spell where he can see through his own clothes. Either way, I don't even know how he's got that map open, because the map is going through himself. So he might be a ghost. This could very well just be a night elf ghost. But then, wouldn't it be a wisp? Do all night elves become wisps as ghosts? That's what I learned from playing World of Warcraft 3 years. Then you die and you become a wisp. Unless that's like, you're not truly dead. You know what I mean? Either way, I still don't know what is going on. This just feels very weird. But he's also eating. He's got like a thing of coffee and some scones, or I don't know, some sort of bread crust. I was gonna say crustacean. He's got some sort of crustacean with him. I don't know. Either way, this guy just felt really pointless, and I was like, I gotta put him on the list. And I didn't know where to put him on the list, but this feels like a good point because it tied together with the previous, you know, me being like, wow, this is pointless. And I was like, well, let's bring up this pointless guy. He's number 7. 6. Number 6 are the wisteria trees. I didn't even know that's what they were called. But they are the wisteria trees, and I think they just look really pretty, with the purple and the green. I feel like the colors just complement each other really well. You have the little dragon whelpling guys flying around, and then just, you know, some really cool emerald dragon type of stuff all around. I don't know, I think it's really aesthetically pleasing, so that was one of the main reasons I wanted to put this on the list. But I also wanted to take this time to rewind a bit and talk about wisps, because I was actually genuinely curious if all night elves become wisps and they die. So it's time for our annual Pointless Top 10 lore session. And I found somebody say the excerpt about wisps in the Grimoire of the Shadowlands, which people are using as evidence for Elune turning night elves into wisps, states that only certain night elves become wisps. Therefore, Elune does not turn all night elf souls into wisps by default. And I also found on the Wowpedia page about wisps, upon death, the souls of most night elves are brought to the Shadowlands like any other mortal race. However, some instead linger in the mortal realms as wisps. So it seems like not all night elves become wisps when they die. I didn't know that. That's actually pretty crazy. There's probably even more to all that lore, but that is interesting. I also wanted to look that up because there's not that much I can say about trees, but I wanted to show off more trees because I do think they look pretty cool in this area. They look pretty. And, you know, a lot of night elf stuff is kind of purple trees anyway, so I thought it fit the theme. So I thought we'd tie that all together by doing a little night elf wisp talk and showing off some wisteria trees, which I almost called wisperia tree. You could call them wisperia trees, but you'd be wrong. All right, that's number 6. 5. Number 5 is this cool floating hourglass type thing with a bunch of sand dust like spewing up from the bottom, and then you have all these little fireflies flying around it. I think it looks really cool, especially at nighttime. And obviously I was like, this has to do with the bronze Dragonflight, right? And it apparently does. This is in Thaldraszus, I believe is how you say it. That's the main hub city of the Dragon Isles, and it's here that the bronze Dragonflight watch over the time ways. I don't know how that happens. I don't know how they do it, but apparently that's what they do here. So it does check out. But I was like, isn't there another, what do you call it? Like big hourglass type thing in like the caverns of time and other places? And so obviously I had to look that up. And it says the Hourglass of Time was a powerful artifact created by Nosdormu to aid those who would fight and defeat his future corrupted self. It contains sands of time, has the ability to reverse time itself. It was stolen by Murazond, who trapped it within the end of time of Azeroth. By using the Hourglass of Time, interfered with Nosdormu's efforts to send adventurers to the past, preventing them from changing the bleak future Murazond resided within. And apparently the hourglass with 6 containers of sands of time can be seen in the caverns of time. It is currently unknown whether they are the same or not. compare, you know, the big sand thing caverns of time and the hourglass of time. Nobody knows if like they are the same. This could be the hourglass of time. Like, I have no idea. Like, maybe we are looking at it right now. So I guess we'll find out when we actually play the expansion. But for now, it's just a big cool hourglass reminding us that time is money, friend. 4. Speaking of time being money, number 4 is the bank. That's right, it was too good of a segue to pass up. I actually had the bank being number 2, but I was like, I gotta move it to number 4. That's why this list is pointless. The numbers don't even make sense. So I mean, number 2 could essentially fit at 4. Like 7 could probably fit at 3. It doesn't matter, all right? The main thing is this bank is really cool. It's probably one of my favorite banks I've seen. There's like a duck with a top hat, who's the assistant of the big banker dragon. The architecture in here is really cool. Like you can see the vault has all this different stained glass type of construction on it. And there's like the lanterns, I don't know, just everything about this bank. It gives me a combination of kind of like the Hobbit, Lord of the Rings vibe mixed with, you know, in Harry Potter where they go to the bank, almost a little bit of that vibe as well. I don't know, I really like it. Almost like a Harry Potter bank mixed with a Smaug from the Hobbit. You know what I mean? I get that type of vibe. So I don't know, I think it's a really cool bank. I'm excited to actually go to this bank compared to some of the other banks I've seen in World of Warcraft. But the most important thing is the duck's name, which is Humduck Livingsworth III. That's right, he is Humduck Livingsworth III, which means there have been 2 other Humduck Livingsworths, and I don't know if they worked at this bank or different banks, but I am actually extremely curious about the Humduck Livingsworth family line now, and we need more answers. So we're gonna have to get the lore team on this one to give us a little more in-depth lore on Humduck Livingsworth III and his family tree. So that's number 4. 3. Number 3 is Locana the Bard at the Roasted Ram Inn. And first off, great inn name. I love that, the Roasted Ram. And then Locana is just playing their harp, having a good time. You know, everybody's talking to the bartenders or walking around or going about their day, but Locana, just playing tunes. You know what I mean? Just playing tunes nonstop, having a great time. And, you know, I think that's worth something, right? You know, people are going to bypass that, just be like, oh, it's just a dragon playing a harp. That's not just a dragon playing a harp. That is Locana the dragon playing a harp. It's just a dragon playing a harp. But I feel like if you took Locana out of this inn, if you took Locana out of this bar, I don't think it would be the same. Like, I think if you look around the place, you know, you could take the waiter out, some of the customers out. Maybe if you took the bartender out, that'd be kind of weird. But I feel like Locana is adding the vibes. Locana is adding the vibes that make this place pop. And without that, you know, you're just another bar. You're not the Roasted Ram. You're just the Ram. And because of that, Locana's number 3. 2. Number 2 is Patient Vargo. Not like a hospital patient, but like patience. And he's just got his little camp set up, and he's trying to catch probably the biggest, most intense fish you've ever seen in your life. I don't know what exactly it is. Obviously, I haven't done the quest yet. But as someone who's just exploring around and came across Patient Vargo, I'm all in, man. This is like the Hemet Nessingwary of Tuskarr. He's got like all these different fish hooks set up, and each one has different bait on it. And then he himself is also fishing. I don't know. And he's just found this perfect little cove spot with the waterfalls coming down where I don't know if this is the spot of this like primary fish he's trying to catch, but I'm all for it, right? As somebody who loves fishing, you know, finding this Tuskarr whose like sole purpose is I'm going to catch whatever this thing is. That's what I assume this is, right? Because I mean, why else would he have so many different things set up and he's trying to, you know, be patient? Because I mean, he is Patient Vargo. Like, why is he patient? Is it because he's like determined to catch what he's going to catch? Is it because he's been trying to catch this fish for so long? Everyone's like, man, this guy's so patient. Like, everybody else would have given up by now, but you know what? Man, but like I feel like he'd be more like determined Vargo at that point. So really, is he patient Vargo, determined Pargo, or Pargo? Patient, I can't even, this is a tongue twister now. But I guess you can be patient and determined, right? Because if you look at, like, patience would be patient definition. Able to accept or tolerate delays, problems, or suffering without becoming annoyed or anxious. So, I mean, yeah, maybe, you know, there's been numerous times where he's been trying to catch this fish, and you know what? Problems have come up. It's been, you know, raining outside. Maybe he's just having a bad day. But you know what? He doesn't care. He's going to catch this fish, and I'm going to help him do it whenever I do this quest. And I hope it actually is a quest for catching a big fish, because if it isn't, I'm going to be upset. But for now, Patient Vargo's number 2. 1. And number 1 is the Dragon Daycare in Thaldraszus. That's right, when I looked up Thaldraszus at first, it mentioned nothing of Dragon Daycare. It's just like, oh, they got the Blue Dragonflight's public library. They have the Green Dragonflight's separate gardens. They have the, you know, the cool Hourglass thing we saw, which was pretty cool. But it's no Dragon Daycare. Look at that. You have all the cute little dragon whelplings sleeping. You got this dragon who's just learning how to do magic. He's having a great time. You've got these dragons playing in the sandbox. And the one's got a little explorer's hat on. He's going to be doing some archaeology, apparently. Although, I don't know if he's going to enjoy doing archaeology much with the lack of updates they've done with the profession. But then there's this dragon with a telescope. And he's having a great time. That's actually a really nice sunset out there. I think the sun's setting, but the clouds and all that. It's a very nice view. And he's enjoying it. And that's the big thing, is all these whelps are just having fun. They're chasing each other around. There's swing sets for some reason. I don't know why the dragons would go on the swing, but, you know, what am I to say? I'm not a dragon. I don't know. Maybe they love going on swings. And there's this really cool bookshelf in there. Well, multiple bookshelves, and they got all these different stuffed animals and toys and books. And, oh, this is one of those things I find, and it kind of takes me by surprise, because I don't expect this much detail put into this little place, but there really is, and it's very charming. I think these are the types of things that I've loved making Pointless Top 10 for, is finding all the little details and all the little charming things you might have missed, or that you might just ignore. Although I feel like not many people are going to ignore this place, because it's actually pretty big, and there's probably some quests involved with it, like taking care of the dragon whelps, or, you know, helping them out at the Dragon Daycare, whatever it might be. But whatever it is, I love this place. It's charming, it's great, it's unique, it's, I don't know, it's very fun and very cute, and I liked it a lot. And so I was like, you know what, this has to be number 1. And so number 1 is the Dragon Daycare. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this episode of Pointless Top 10. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube lingo. And if you missed any of the previous Dragon Isle zones, they'll be over there in the More Videos section on the right, and you can check those out. Okay? Okay. See you.